Hello, everybody. I'm going to give everyone a minute or two to get situated and get into the room. If you want to drop in the chat where you're based and where you want to shoot elopements, that'd be really fun. We got the Bronx. That's fun. Anna is in Colorado, living in Florida currently, shooting full-time in Colorado, moving next year. Nice. I moved from Florida to Colorado at one point. My skin was like, what is happening? It's so dry. We got Connecticut, we got Southern California, Alaska. Amazing. I recognize some of your names, you guys. Finger Lakes, New York. Ooh, New York is actually a really big hotspot for elopements. Cool, cool. People are still kind of coming in, so I'm just going to give maybe one more minute, but feel free to post where you're from. Another Alaska. We got Seattle. Amazing. These are good spots. Cool, cool. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and start um, sharing my screen and kind of going over things, and I'll just kind of let people um, keep coming in. Okay, myself over there. Yeah, let's start presenting. Okie dokie. Oops. What is that? It like changed things up. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay. Here we go. All right, we got more and more people coming in. I love it. Okay. So, let's see. Iowa, but I want to shoot in Moab and Minnesota. Ooh. I love that. Austria, but most elopements in the Dolomites. I love that. North Georgia. Cool, cool, cool. Amazing. Yeah, feel free to drop where you're from, where you want to shoot elopements, what you're excited about. Thank you so much for coming to my presentation, How to Become a Six-Figure Elopement Photographer in 2026. This presentation is going to do two things, give you kind of some step-by-step strategies, maybe even some things you've never thought about, or maybe some things you've thought about but didn't know how crucial they were. Like, who knows? Hopefully, you'll have some light bulb moments. And I also wanted to really show you what is possible and that you can absolutely go into 2026 having booked zero elopements and still hit six figures. You can bust into quote unquote saturated markets fairly easily. I see it all the time. I work with hundreds of elopement photographers and they are doing some crazy, crazy things. And throughout the presentation, I'm going to be sharing some of their wins, all recent ones from 2025. I think it's really important that um, I share recent stuff so you could see that this isn't stuff that was happening in 2024 or 2020 or what, like back in the past. These are things that are happening right now with today's economy, today's algorithm, today's market, all that kind of stuff. So get excited. All right, so you're in the right place. If you feel called to pivot into elopements and you want a clear, proven strategy to start booking your dream couples, or you're already booking elopements, but you know you could be making more and working less and you're ready to scale, or you're done with trial and error and you want a roadmap that actually works so you can hit six figures faster. Um, you're not in the right place if you're going to be upset with me for plugging my program at the very, very end of this, because of course I'm going to do that because it's awesome. You're also not in the right place if you're happy photographing big traditional weddings or family sessions and you're just going to stick with that because we like to say goodbye to those things around here. Um, and you're also not in the right place if you're looking for some quick fix or shiny object or overnight success because the best businesses really require quite a bit of foundational work. And this step-by-step system I'm going to teach you does require some work, but at the end of it, you get to coast. You get to go on autopilot and basically be smooth sailing. So I'm going to pack as much info into this free masterclass as I can within the hour. To be honest, this information I could probably write a whole textbook about and speak for like 48 straight hours on. So I had to kind of like pick and choose some things. But we're going to do 45 minutes of teaching. We're going to do 15 minutes of Q&A at the end. Please write down your questions or drop them in the chat as you have them, and I will answer at the end. And if there's any amazing light bulb moment that you have, please drop it in the chat, but like explain what it was. Because sometimes when I'm like done presenting and I look and it's just like, oh, that was awesome. Sometimes I don't know what you're talking about. And feedback is what makes me a better educator and helps kind of guide you guys better. So yeah, take notes, implement the strategies, get excited about elopements, and here we go. Um, yeah, take notes, eliminate distractions. I'm going to go over the top three mistakes photographers make. I've peppered in some real success stories, and I'm going to talk about my roadmap for hitting six figures. And oh, this is a question I like to ask to get feedback and kind of learn a little bit better. If you could choose only one of these to get for free, which would it be? Would it be like my pricing and packaging? Course on like how to price your elopements and understand your cost of doing business and make a profit? Would it be adventures in Google Ads, where you learn how to run Google Ads, get your highest return on investment possible? Or is it my elopement planning toolkit where I kind of tell you exactly how to plan a elopement from start to finish, but like make it really streamlined and easy? Great, you guys are putting it in the chat. Google Ads, Google Ads. Amazing. Look at you guys. You know what's up. You guys have been following me. So, for those who have not been following me for a long period of time, I'm Megan. Some of you might be new to my world. I'm an elopement photographer. I started booking elopements back in 2016, so I've been in this game for a long time. I've seen all the changes throughout the years. But before that, I was an emergency veterinarian, which is crazy. And I built my business while I was working overnights, holidays, and weekends. I totally understand what it's like to hustle and struggle as you're building a business and trying to get out of your previous life. I worked my whole life to be a veterinarian, and it just sucked the life out of me. So when I finally transitioned to elopement photography, I found true freedom and my passion and purpose, and I want to help you with that too. So here I am in vet school doing some of like my first surgeries and stuff like that. And then I moved to Colorado for an emergency vet position at a really busy clinic or animal hospital. And then I started kind of booking Colorado weddings on the side. And I loved them, but I also was kind of like, I'm still working weekends, like I still can't hang out with my family. I'm still missing out on things. Like that's what was going on in my vet job. That's not what I wanted anymore. So then I switched to elopements. I've booked elopements all over the world in all the coolest national parks. When I switched to elopements, that's when I really felt true freedom because people were booking things on my schedule. I was able to like block out weeks where I could hang out with my family. I got to um basically celebrate holidays with my family again. I got my weekends back, I got my summers back, and I started making a lot more money. Because once you become kind of like a authority figure as an elopement photographer, you can really charge a lot. And then I started teaching photographers in 2020 when everything was kind of turning to crap because of COVID. I was doing pretty well. So I decided to give back to the photography community and start kind of offering free coaching sessions. I did about 40 of those, and I found out that a lot of people were really struggling because at the time there was only online courses available, and they just weren't able to get their business off the ground with the existing education. So I created my own group coaching programs. And what I heard over and over again was that people really wanted to hit six figures as a photographer. But what does that really mean? Like six figures is a buzzword, right? Like it kind of excites us, but really what that means is being able to go full time, quit your 9 to 5, have that kind of freedom. It does not mean booking a crap ton of $2,000 sessions and working your ass off. Like you can book 20 $5,000 elopements, be able to travel all over the place. Again, have your weekends back, have your holidays back, buy a house, have a
Excuse
baby,
me.
buy your,
Thank you.
dream car, go on an epic honeymoon, go on really cool trips. What else have some of my students done? Be able to like put, $2,000 on their
Excuse
car
me.
brakes and stuff like that, without having to worry about it. They can take their kids and their dogs to the emergency hospitals and get them the care that they need. So six figures is a buzzword. I'm going to use a lot of examples of money because it's so tangible, but I want you to remember like what that means for people and what that means for you. So there's three big mistakes that I see people making all the time that want to be elopement photographers. Um, and one of those is offering to shoot elopements for free. I Well, first of all, this almost never works. The people that are going to jump on this are um, going to be kind of difficult to work with. How do I make sure that everybody is muted? Wait, that is Chrome. You can all just make sure you're muted. I can't figure out how to do it on my end. But yeah, so shooting elopements for free really doesn't work. If it does work, it's probably not an ideal client. Normally a price shopper, somebody who might micromanage you a little bit and kind of be a little bit of a red flag. And plus, I just don't feel like somebody's elopement day should be um, a portfolio building project for you, you know? So I don't like offering to shoot elopements for free. I do love doing styled shoots and stuff like that to build portfolios if you need to, but this is not the way to get your foot in the door as far as elopements go. Mistake number two, which has been this way since 2016 when I first started, is adding a 2 hour elopement package kind of as an afterthought on your website when you really want to book like all day cool adventure elopements, but like you're not offering that, you don't see it anywhere on your website. And so people, are booking you that are kind of again like price haggler people. They just want quick ceremony and photos. And for one, trying to hit six figures and go full time as an elopement photographer booking 2 hour elopements is going to be awful. But then also, there's all these couples out there who want all day adventure elopements. And if they only see a 2 hour elopement package on your website, they're going to go somewhere else. And then mistake number three, and the folks who have followed me for any period of time know this, but relying on Instagram for your income for inquiries and bookings is crazy. It's not reliable, it's not predictable, it's not consistent. It takes too much of your time and energy. You can absolutely, like, there's a place for Instagram where you can have fun on there, but if you are trying to build your business and get booked out simply by posting on Instagram, there's a much better way. So I'm going to explain that today. I'm going to explain my six-figure roadmap. So I originally had this as 5 steps, and then I kind of switched it up at the very last minute right before this. So hopefully I explained it all really well at the end. But the roadmap, I wanted to make it kind of clever with just one word things, but basically it's align, attract, profit, convert, funnel, book, troubleshoot, scale. Okay, so that seems like a lot, but I'm going to walk you through every single thing. And step one is one of the most important parts that a lot of people don't do. So stick with me for this one because I want to make sure that you build a business that reflects your vision for your life and what you want. Um, I don't want you to listen to Facebook groups. They give awful advice. I don't want you to listen to the price haggler couples that are telling you that you are too expensive. I don't want you to listen to any of the social media trends. None of those matter. And whatever other photographers are doing or what they say there's money in also does not matter. What matters is what you want. You can build any kind of business in life that you want. You can work on only elopements that excite you and energize you. You can define what success looks like for you. For me, that is not a triple header wedding weekend. That is not 40 to 50 bookings a year. That is just a handful of high-priced elopements so that I can like really give my couples all of my attention and in the meantime, like could just kind of chill. And like, how can your business support your life goals? Like, I see way too many people where their business is taking away from their life and they're up late editing and they are, their mental health is struggling because they spend so much time on Instagram or they're missing out on their kids' lives on weekends or family time or friend time. And like, that's not the way to live, right? Like, and you can build anything that you want. I want to make that very clear. Your alignment with your business matters because it should reflect your unique vision for your life and your strengths. That is one of the ways that you can help attract your ideal clients. Success, again, means building a business that feels fulfilling and profitable, that you're excited to wake up to every day and you're not resentful of. You'll avoid burnout by doing work that really excites you and energizes you. And it's going to help simplify decision making because instead of listening to the noise, listening to society, listening to Facebook groups, you'll listen to yourself and what you want. And honestly, that's the best way to be an entrepreneur is to do the things that excite you, that energize you, that you cannot wait to wake up for. The money will come if that's what you're doing. So at some point, I want you to define your vision, what you really want for your business and your life. I want you to focus on your energy or think about your energy, like what excites you and energizes you, and then what drains you, because you want to move towards the things that excite and energize you and move away from the things that drain you. I see it so many times where somebody shoots their first elopement and like their whole life just lights up. And then they shoot a wedding and they're anxious and drained and resentful and don't want to do it anymore. I want you to identify some like core values that can help guide your decisions. And then I want you to also define what success means to you, because I think a lot of us kind of run after these trends and being like fully booked out means like booked out to your max. And like that just is not that's not my definition of success. Like I already did the whole hardworking thing, putting my life on hold so that I could be in a hospital all the time. Like now, like I want peace, I want calm, I want um just a few bookings with the right people in epic locations at prices I deserve. So I want to tell you about Nicole. I should have put her photo up here because she's adorable. Nicole, was a second shooter and a wedding photographer for years. She started following me on Instagram back in like 2017 or 2018, like a while ago. And she really wanted to be an elopement photographer, but she put it off and she put it off and she put it off for years. Yeah, she finally started working with me, completely stopped booking weddings and went like 100% into elopements. And she's booking her highest packages to date. Things are feeling easy for her. She just bought her dream house and got married. She went on a European cruise with her best friend. And this is back in May, when I reached out to her to ask her how many she had booked for 2025. And yeah, she had booked 7 so far. I should have reached out to her again because I'm sure she's completely booked out her year and has hit six figures at this point. But she's absolutely killing it. And she thought she's gonna have to shoot weddings and second shoot forever. And here she is now, an elopement photographer in New York. So, step two is attract. So, this is where we define and connect with the people we really want to work with, the people that are going to feel like friends, the people that are going to pay us prices that we deserve. So, I call this our target market or ideal clients. Um, the couples that want to invest in their elopement experience, that think photography is something very valuable to them. They have the money to do it. They want to do an epic adventure. They really want to make the most of this, are not the same as couples that want a couple hours of photos. Okay. It's not our job to turn these people into these people. They are completely separate groups. And too many photographers are talking to wedding couples, which is also a different group, that it's not our job to try to get them to elope. So many people talk to wedding couples and then couples that want a couple hours of photos, again, with that 2 hour, package kind of thrown on your pricing page. And they just are not communicating to the couples who really want to invest in this experience, that truly value it. So these are the people we need to talk to. And so I'm going to talk about a few of the non-ideal people. So price hagglers, for example, value a deal above all else. Again, it's not our job to try to communicate our value to them, to kind of like convince them. That's not our job. Our job is basically to price ourselves out of their budget so that we don't have to deal with them anymore. So price hagglers micromanage and they nitpick because they don't trust us. They're not booking us based on trust. They're booking us based on a price. They're not investing in themselves or their elopement day, and they're often unhappy with what they receive because they're prioritizing money over everything else. So they're kind of like the worst people to book. So we need to price ourselves out of what they are. Ideal couples are going to see cheaper photographers as a lesser value, not a good deal. Like they're going to be like, why is this person so cheap? Like, I don't really want that. They seek connection with a photographer. They want to be friends with you. They want you to celebrate their elopement. They want to have somebody that they can hang out with all day. Um, they're often happier with the experience overall because they're invested in making the day special. They are prioritizing their values and what they want over money. So even if it's like rainy or windy or whatever, they oftentimes just have the best day because that's what they are, invested in. And they trust their photographer. They are not booking a photographer until they trust them. And that's an amazing feeling to be trusted by your couples because you get the creativity and freedom to deliver your best work. You don't get nitpicked and micromanaged. And like ideal couples are always going to leave you like 5-star reviews and just love everything. So, how do you attract your ideal couples? They want to see your personality, your knowledge, and your photos. If you remember, like, or if you think about a couple who is eloping, like, the industry is getting bigger, but it's still like people don't know how to elope. They've been in weddings before, they know how weddings work, but putting together their dream elopement day is still very much something that is very foreign to them. So they need somebody with knowledge that's going to help them. And then, of course, photos are important, but like the personality and knowledge part are also equally as important. Important. So you want to showcase all day elopements. You want to build your portfolio with styled shoots, not with free giveaways or anything like that, because you want to be able to build exactly who you're trying to attract. You can say no to couples wanting just an hour or two of coverage. That's okay. My coverage really starts at 8 hours, and I have to tell people, like, schedule a call with me if you're interested in something a little bit longer. Um, and you can use language that positions you as a friend and a guide, not just like a professional vendor. Again, like these relationships we build with elopement couples are very much they're professional, but they're more of a friendship. So, here's just some examples of people who booked things with their ideal clients. This person doesn't even market to North Carolina, but the couple loved her and her work so much that they want her to go do a 2-day elopement in North Carolina with them. Um, this person booked an 8-hour package with their dream client after raising prices. They actually wanted to hike. This person really wants to do long hiking elopements, which you don't have to do, but um, this one, because the couple really loved the idea of working with this photographer, they didn't even blink at the pricing, knew immediately what they wanted, one of the best feelings. This one also booked a 8-hour elopement with a couple that loved their energy, and that was the second time that week they'd been told that. So, again, these are like show off some sales calls where people really vibed with their couples, and it wasn't just like a professional vendor relationship. Like it's really about building a friendship and trust, so that people again will pay the prices that you deserve. So let's talk about pricing. Step three is profit. You need to price yourself for success. This is what happens when you charge too little. You attract price hagglers who, again, they don't value your work. They're kind of horrible to deal with. You're forced to take on way too many clients, leading to burnout. Your gear and business investments suffer. You feel rushed and stressed, which impacts your client experience. You show up to weddings or elopements with like this whole editing list on your back and stuff like that. And you start to resent your work. You show up tired and unmotivated, stuff like that. So, um, yeah, we don't want that. We want to price for profit, which means you attract dream clients who appreciate and trust your expertise. You work with fewer clients, allowing you to focus on quality over quantity. You can invest in better gear, education, and growth. You can replace your laptop when it dies. You can replace a lens, and it doesn't have to be like this horrible thing that happens. You provide an unforgettable experience for each couple, stress-free. You're showing up hydrated, energized, excited to work. You're fulfilled by your work. You're waking up every morning without those feelings of dread and resentment. So pricing is based on pretty five things that this is what I teach. Your cost of doing business, yes, but it's more than just your cost of doing business. This is a good starting point. You also have to factor in your mindset and your limiting beliefs about money. Because if you are really struggling with that and you have to get on a sales call and state a price that like makes you break out in hives, that may not be the best look. So you kind of have to work on that and like why do you feel like you deserve so little when you probably deserve so much? Hmm. So your mindset can kind of like grow along with raising your prices. You also, excuse me, want to look at your local market, not because you're going to look at it and then price yourself a little bit under. That's not what I want you to do. Because then couples are going to be like, wow, this person's cheap. Like, why is she cheap? And I don't really trust somebody who's cheap. Remember, we're switching away from price haggler people to our ideal clients. So in your local market, like I'd prefer you to be one of the higher priced people than one of the lower priced people. And then think about the value you bring, and like if when you're just starting out, this might feel like, oh, I have imposter syndrome. I'm a fraud. I don't know what I'm doing. But you have a whole skill set based on your whole life that you can bring to this, like, and your unique personality, um, the, shows you watch, the things that you can communicate and like have common ground on with your couples. There's all kinds of skills and knowledge and past experience that you bring to this, whether you're like really, what's the word? Whether you've like booked a million elopements or not. And then supply and demand. As your demand increases, so as you start booking more things, you need to adjust your prices. And one of the things that I tell people towards the end of the year, if you already have like a quarter to a half um, or more of your elopements booked in 2026, that's a huge sign that you should up your pricing. You can actually head into 2026 with zero bookings and still hit six figures. So you don't want to head into 2026 booked out because you're kind of like leaving money on the table. And after doing hundreds of cost of doing business spreadsheets, we have found that the bare minimum that you should charge to be profitable in your elopement photography business is $5,000. And really, I want you to get more to like six, seven, 8,000, where that is just kind of like the your average. And I see people accomplishing that every day. And I even see people accomplishing that on their first elopement bookings. So if those numbers scare you, that might be a sign that you have some limiting beliefs about money and you should work on that. So here are a few more screenshots about just booked another 5K elopement. Got five new inquiries to our booking, all 5,000 plus packages. Booked my highest package yet, 12 hours, split over 2 days, 8,000. A lot of them have $7,500 to $10,000 budgets. Booked another $5,000 package, booked another $5,000 package. So like, let's start rewriting that idea that $5,000 isn't possible or that $8,000 isn't possible because it totally is. And it might take a few steps to get there, but it's totally available to you in the next 12 months to book that. So step four is convert. This is where we turn your website into a booking machine. This is all about creating basically like a sales engine. So you turn your website into a booking machine. So what I like to do is basically write a pricing page like a sales page. So most couples are going to skip from your homepage straight to your pricing page. So this is the best opportunity to sell your services and build trust. If you just have the prices on the top, that's the only thing they're going to have to be able to like judge you. Whereas if you kind of like write it like a sales page, it kind of like introduces a lot of cool things about you, who you are, what you do, how you help people, that kind of stuff. And I always get pushback where people are like, well, what if people don't want to scroll through all that? Too bad. We're forcing them to show how cool you are, just like how the grocery store puts milk all the way in the back of the store. So you have to walk past everything else and hopefully pick up a few more things. That's what we're doing. We're running a business and they cannot not see how cool you are, right? So that's why we do it like a sales page. So a good pricing page slash sales page will have the specific locations you serve. Um, just being a destination elopement photographer kind of falls flat for a lot of couples that really, like 99 times out of 100, a couple will decide to elope and then they will decide what location that they want to elope in, and then they want to find a photographer that works there. So make sure that you have specific locations that you serve, what you offer as an elopement photographer, who you are, your personality, testimonials from happy couples, stunning images of all-day elopements, not just ceremony and golden hour portraits, and then pricing and packages for all-day elopements, not just 2 hours. The top mistakes I see is focusing on the why instead of the how. Again, we're not trying to convince people to elope. We are trying to show couples that want to elope that we are the photographer for them. Only offering small packages. We don't want to do that. Another mistake is not having any testimonials or reviews. Another mistake is having photos of weddings, families, newborns, equine, all kinds of stuff, and very little actual elopements. Our couples need to see themselves in your work. And then again, no mention of the locations you serve is doing a disservice. Okay, now that we have figured out exactly what we want our business and life to look like. We are pricing ourselves for profit. We are attracting our ideal couples and we know exactly who they are. We've rewritten our website so that it can be a 24/7 salesperson. Now we have to funnel website traffic to our website. Drive traffic to your website. That's what we need to do. The biggest indicator of a successful photographer is how much traffic goes to their website every month. So, your website is your best sales tool, but only if couples visit it. A steady flow of traffic ensures consistent inquiries and bookings. Consistency, something that Instagram will not give us. So, the good news is your ideal couples are searching for you on Google, elopement um, searches through, I think it's Google Trends, just keep going up. Elopements are getting more and more popular. The industry is expanding every day. I have seen that 100% since 2016 when they kind of really were on the map. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and people are searching on Google for their photographers. So you need a short-term traffic strategy and a long-term traffic strategy. My short-term traffic strategy is to use Google Ads to target couples searching for elopement photographers. That's my favorite because it is very much hands-off and easy and has a very high return on investment. Some people really like creating TikTok videos. And have great success on getting short-term bookings and inquiries with TikTok. Long term, we want to optimize your website with SEO so that we can rank for all of your search terms. You want to write blogs and create landing pages to target all those keywords. You want to drive organic traffic to your website. This can take like years to really ramp up, which is why we need that short-term strategy, which really is just Google Ads. And Pinterest is also something that we love to include. It helps your SEO, and people are on Pinterest. They're on all the apps really. But Pinterest, we have seen some folks booking like big elopements this year from Pinterest. So what about Instagram though? Instagram is a great place to nurture couples that find you mainly on Google. So once they find you on Google, they can go to your Instagram, kind of binge your content, kind of get a behind the scenes look and like build trust and stuff like that. So they can really get to know your personality a little bit more. So what I don't worry about is going viral. I don't worry about metrics or insights. I've like literally never looked at Instagram insights. I don't care about follower counts. I have people booking $8,800 elopements with like 100 webs or Instagram followers, you know? So like Instagram is not the place to put all your time and energy. But if you have the sales engine running in the background, it's a place to have fun and kind of just put another level out there, kind of like your website 2.0 or something, where people can go and kind of binge and learn about you and see you working with couples, maybe like some repurposed blog posts, that kind of stuff. So I have like hundreds of things about Google, but these are a couple things where, got my first Yosemite booking from Google Ads, booked an absolute dream elopement that came from Google. But Google is definitely my zone of, well, this is all my zone of genius, but Google is the place, if you're not showing up on the first page of Google, whether it be organically or through an ad, you are going to be on the struggle bus. And I feel very strongly. I will die on that hill. I just don't know a single photographer that is killing it without being on the first page of Google. So, example, Vanessa um, was about to quit her photography job. She was on depression medication and she was working a 9 to 5 that she hated, but then she started working with me and she did all of the things that we just talked about. She started her Google ads and she booked like she basically booked out her whole, I think this was 2024 in like 4 months. So she ran her Google ads from January to April and then had to turn them off because she was getting way too many inquiries. She booked out her whole year, quit her job, bought her dream car, was a forerunner. She paid off all her debt. She got off her depression meds, and she was able to. She got engaged during this time, and she was planning her dream honeymoon with her husband. And then this year, because I told you I was going to give you a lot of 2025 stuff, she's about to hit 160K. They are in the process of buying a 12-acre farmhouse and just had an adorable baby girl. So life is good for Vanessa. She's one of my biggest fans because her her life was changed through this stuff. So, step 5 is book. So, once you're funneling people to your website is doing, an excellent job as your 24/7 salesperson. People are binging your social media to kind of get to know you and trust you, and now they're reaching out to book you. This is where I want you to invite couples onto a sales call. On that sales call, you can paint the picture of an all-day elopement. You can sell without feeling salesy. You can make yourself look like an amazing value despite charging high prices. This is really one of the keys to everything. And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of this because this is part of the bonus I'm going to offer you guys. So, step 6 is troubleshoot. What the F is troubleshooting? This is where you use data to improve your booking process, to improve your website, to improve your whole sales funnel. So many photographers rely on hope and algorithms and luck and Facebook groups that this idea that your income, that your inquiries and bookings can be predictable and consistent is like mind-blowing to people, right? Like they're like, "What? I can consistently book 1 to 2 elopements like every month." And like, yes, absolutely you can. Because it really comes down to math. It's all a numbers game. And if you troubleshoot this whole sales funnel, um, and you don't stop troubleshooting until it works, you will hit 6 figures, period. And this works for anyone and everyone. Um, and I don't know anybody else who teaches this. I had to create all of this stuff from scratch from working with so many people and collecting so much data. But this is where business really becomes math and a numbers game. And essentially, every month, I have people track their number of website visitors, their number of inquiries, their number of consult calls or sales calls, and their bookings, and then also their average booking price. I want to know where people are coming from. Um, 70 to 80% of those people should be from Google. A little bit will be from Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, maybe. I've been posting some things on YouTube, maybe a referral here and there, but like the majority should be from Google. And then you track everything and improve it over time. And little improvements can lead to like big payouts. So, improving your sales funnel, understanding your sales funnel, understanding that data and numbers are your best friend, and that all of this gets to be easy, consistent, predictable, reverse engineerable, will get you to those 6 figures. So I kind of mentioned this before. You only need to book $25,000 elopements to hit 6 figures. And I have people booking $28,000 elopements or 16 $6,000 elopements, but that's really just an average of 1 to 2 bookings a month to hit 6 figures. So, and a lot of elopement photographers are booking th like last minute elopements. So it's not like with wedding photography where you do all this hard work and all your bookings are for like a year and a half, 2 years from now. You can really start booking things kind of last minute fairly quickly. So here's some more screenshots. Um, Thank you so much for everything. Booked my highest package yet. Oh, I already shared that one too. Booked elopement number 4, booked 3 elopements today, 3 elopement bookings in today, booked an 8K elopement in DC for 2 weeks from today. Um, I have like hundreds of screenshots. And then so step 7 is where you have your vision, you figure out your ideal client, you price yourself for profit, you rewrite your website, you drive traffic to your website, you have a whole booking sales funnel that you are troubleshooting and improving over time. Now it's all about scaling because like some people will be like, "Oh, like isn't this a lot of work? Like I already work so hard for like my 30K or 40K. Like it's going to be twice the work to hit 6 figures." And no. I already said that. This is where you continue to increase your prices, continue to tweak your sales funnel, streamline and automate all your price processes so things are basically running on their own. And this is where people start like twiddling their thumbs and they're like, this is like easy. Like this is like I'm like wondering what to even do at this point because I have all this extra time and energy. I'm not hustling anymore. Like everything is just kind of working. And this is where you get to basically reap the rewards of your hard work. This is also where people sometimes try to make things hard because they're used to things being hard and it's kind of hard to transition over to like relaxing and reaping those rewards. But it gets to be calm, predictable, consistent, and even easy. You get to take vacations, you get to take time off, you get to have slow mornings, you get to know like you get to have confidence that bookings and inquiries are coming in and that they're going to be ideal clients and that you're going to be excited to shoot them and that you're not going to be overwhelmed. So this is really where you kind of look at your energy and your bottlenecks and you just streamline and automate as much as possible. So a good example of this is Natasha. She moved from New York to the Pacific Northwest and her business came to a standstill and her business kind of was struggling in New York too, even though looking good on paper. Her first year, she booked 140K in elopements in the Pacific Northwest. It was her first year as an elopement photographer, having transitioned from weddings. And then this year, just now in September, she's hit 187K. So she's an amazing photographer. Ava booked her first elopement this year for $8,800 in the Dolomites with less than 200 Instagram followers. And since then, she has made over $40,000 in bookings. And she started from literal scratch, had no Instagram, no website, no nothing at the beginning of the year, 9 months ago. So she's hit 40K having come from nothing, having never shot a thing before. This is Sydney. She started booking 5K elopements with less than 1,000 Instagram followers in Colorado in a quote unquote saturated market. And now she's hitting over $200,000 a year, booking like $8,000 elopements in Colorado and even Iceland and stuff like that. Kiera switched from family photos to elopements 6 months ago and has already booked 50K in elopements in Sedona in Arizona. Um, the most she ever made as a family photographer was $27,000, and that was like working every weekend. And now she's already doubled that, and she's just gets to hang out with her kids and her bunnies. She's got three bunnies. Christina is a California elopement photographer. She's one booking away from hitting six figures this year, and that's with 16 elopements. So it books like things at over $6,000. She's booking Yosemite, Redwoods, Big Sur, again, quote unquote, saturated markets that she just squeezed right into. She's killing it. Allie is in Hawaii and she was struggling to book even like a 2 hour elopement on the beach, which is like there's millions of those in Hawaii. But now she's hit way more than six figures. She's building an associate team because she has so much business. She's booking 10K packages. She's now putting more of her money and time and investing in an Airbnb, and she's only paying like $10 a day in Google Ads to accomplish all that. And then Cheryl here is one of my favorite stories. Like she has booked elopements in the Amalfi Coast and Thailand, and just all in all the coolest places. She used to really hustle on Instagram until everything fell apart because she was hospitalized. I have podcast episodes about almost all of these people. But she's killing it now because she's relying on Google and just having fun on Instagram. And she just had a baby and she's been traveling with her baby and just shooting in all the coolest places. So I'm really happy for her. So this is where I want to plug the mastermind, but start thinking of the questions that you have because I'm going to answer those in just a minute. I'm running a little late, but we will get through. So I started the mastermind back in 2021 because again, I found out that people were really struggling and needed more personalized support. Since then, it has really grown and evolved and is the reason why so many people have gotten these crazy wins. So it's basically for elopement photographers who want to hit six figures or beyond six figures, multiple six figures, all that kind of stuff. So really, whether you're just starting out and ready to book your first all-day elopement, or you've been in the game for a while and bookings are okay, but you know you're leaving money on the table, the elopement photographer mastermind is how you're going to scale quickly and efficiently without wasting years stuck in trial and error mode. So, and I also want to talk about because it's not just a course, it's like a whole team of people behind you. So online courses, they often have long videos packed with fluff for added value. So like they can say like, oh, I have all these hours of video content or whatever. The mastermind has short, actionable videos. They're straight to the point. They are designed to get you your money, to get you your bookings quickly and efficiently. Many of them are about 15 minutes long so that you can really get through them. Online courses, they've recently started adding in coaching calls because, again, to kind of like add that value. But they're huge and they're once a month. And we have very intimate coaching calls, sometimes only with 3 or 4 people on them. There's 11 of them a month. You do not have to attend all of those, but in a minute, I will break down what all of those are. Um, in online courses, you also often join a huge Facebook group, whereas we have a very small Slack group that you're invited into. Again, we've got like 35 people in there right now, and me and my team are there to help answer your questions, go over whatever you're struggling with, all that kind of stuff. Online courses often have no personalized feedback, whereas the mastermind, we review your homework at every step. So each lesson, you complete homework, submit it to us so that we know exactly what you're up to and make sure that you are only focusing your energy and time on things that are going to move the needle forward, which also means things that are going to get you booked out. Online courses have a 3 to 5, 15% completion rate. I have literally never finished an online course that I've purchased. I don't think I've even opened the majority of them, and I've probably purchased 4 or 5. So I just know that about myself now. But group coaching and the mastermind has more like a 95% completion rate. And like I said, if you troubleshoot, you will hit 6 figures, right? And then online courses have no audits. We have lots of audits. We have line by line website audits, Pinterest audits, social media audits, monthly number audits. So we got our hands all up in your business. So here's the team. Here's me and my husband. Todd is in charge of all the videography stuff and all the admin payment kind of type of stuff and has made us some really great spreadsheets. Jessica helps us with social media and how to build trust and bingeable content on there. Juliana helps with websites. Um, and Natalie helps with copy and websites as well. Brittany is our Google Ads girl. Karen is all about streamlining and automating. She has 2 young kiddos at home, so she's not trying to spend extra time on stuff. She wants things automated, so she's awesome. Paula is our Pinterest coach, and then Megan does all of our photo critiques. We have a photo critique video call over every month. So when you join, you're going to get Six Figure Stoke, which is my roadmap that I just went over, except it will basically give you the step-by-step, um, like explain exactly how you need to install all of this to your business and get it running. You get group coaching with me, you get 3 of them every month. You get video coaching with Todd. I kind of talked about all of that. So you get video calls with all of my support coaches. Again, you have a whole team of people who are ready to help you. You get 24/7 access to the Slack group where you can post wins, ask questions, all that kind of stuff. Um, and then you get all of these bonuses. So when you join, you don't just get one of these, but I do like asking what you guys seem to like, but you'll get all of these. Price it right helps you create your packages and pricing and understand pricing psychology and your cost of doing business spreadsheet and all that kind of stuff. My Adventures in Google Ads course is all about Google Ads. Google Ads are the GOAT. Google Ads are how I get people to 6 figures. But as you've seen, like you can, if you run Google Ads and you don't have your website down, your social media down, your sales process down, like it can really be a lot of wasted money. And then my elopement planning toolkit is there to remove any sense of imposter syndrome. I think a lot of people are like, I want to book elopements, but I don't know how to plan them. So I have this whole way of doing it that I've created. I've created a questionnaire. I've created a way of doing it that's very streamlined, very easy, but gives the couples like a 5-star experience. So that this will take away all that concern of like, how do I plan elopements? And I want to make it really clear that the work inside of the Elopement Photographer Mastermind is not extra work. It is the right work. It is the work that you should be doing, that if you are not doing it right now, you will continue kind of struggling. Um, Everything is designed to help you implement things easily and quickly because I want to see you booking epic all-day elopements, just like all the people that I talked to you about. So, and I also want to stress that Now is the time. If you want 2026 to be your big breakout year where you switch over to elopements, and you're ready to do it, and it's scary, but also super exciting, you can absolutely hit six figures next year if you start now. Elopements continue to grow in popularity. SEO and Pinterest are going to take a while to work, but we can have all of this stuff installed, ready to go, so that you can start booking elopements in 2026. Stop hustling on Instagram. Stop, giving up your weekends for weddings. Stop lowballing yourself. Raise your prices. Like we will walk you through this, so that it is that so that you get it done and have results. And then if you apply in the next 15 minutes, this is what I wanted to give you guys was my step-by-step booking process and sales call script. I'm going to give you guys that for free just for applying to the mastermind. I've never done this before. It's something I actually haven't sold before, but if I were to sell it, I would probably price it at 297. But it'll basically walk you through exactly what your booking workflow should be, and then my sales call script of how you basically paint the picture of all the elopements and kind of build value for your couples so that at the end of the sales call, they're like, yeah, 8 hours for $7,000 sounds great. Where's the contract? So, it's crazy that I'm giving that out, but I am. So, I'm going to answer questions. Feel free to drop them in the chat. Um, and I'm going to drop in the chat. Where's the chat? Um, the link to apply to the mastermind. But yeah, I would just love to hear what questions you guys have. And I'm going to take some water because I feel like my throat is really sore from talking for a solid hour. Or even what feedback do you guys have? What things were the most helpful? Anybody? Feel free to drop in the chat. I created a Google Ads campaign on my own for the last 4 months. No one filled out my form. Is that um like your contact form, do you mean? Like your inquiry form, Charles? Actually, let me Rachel, starting bookings at 5K was really helpful. Yeah. Um yeah, if you actually do like a cost of doing business like analysis, like it just if you're charging anything less than that, like you're only pocketing barely anything. So yeah, so anyone trying to like really if you're charging like 4,000, 3,000, um then then yeah, you're not profiting that much and yeah, so 5,000 has to be the okay, so let's see. Charles is saying that yeah, nobody has applied. So um yeah, so there's a lot. So we have been um, basically, I've spent 3 years kind of trial and erroring Google Ads, and there are definitely ways to run them and ways not to run them. And I think a lot of times people start a Google ad and Google puts them straight into a smart search. Or a smart ad. And if you are running that, then that could be the reason why you're not getting inquiries. It could also be because your website is not converting. It could also be because you're targeting the wrong keywords. It could be because your budget is too low. So there's a lot of things that could happen. And that's why it's kind of nice to have us be able to look at those things and troubleshoot with you. But there's absolutely a way, like a lot of the people who are hitting six figures are spending maybe 5 grand total on their ads. But it doesn't mean that that isn't super scary to start with and troubleshoot. But that's what we kind of do in the program. Alexandria said, really focusing on my website and gearing it towards elopements. Yes, if you want to book elopements, your website has to be very elopement specific. Anna says, I've been running Instagram ads since May and they have been working really well for me thus far. Have you ever worked with elopement photographers who transition from Instagram ads to Google? Any thoughts on that? Yes. So the folks that I have helped transition from Instagram ads to Google have said that Google is infinitely easier, and less expensive. So I've actually helped quite a few people transition, and they have had much better success with the Google ads, but I'm glad that you're having Instagram ads success because I have not, like, I use Instagram ads for all the time, and we even do retargeting, like people who visit your website from Google can then be retargeted on Instagram for like $1 a day or something like that. Um, but um, but Instagram, there's just way too many variables, and it's too hard, I think, to and can be really expensive. So Jonathan, can you charge more for elopements and weddings? That is counterintuitive. Yes. So almost everybody that I work with charges way more once they start booking elopements than they ever did for weddings. And that could be partly because their mindset improves and I kind of give them permission and the tools to know how to raise their prices and what to do. But elopements can be so super specific that that yeah, and like because so much of it is based on your personality, you can charge a lot of money for them. And people are happy to pay it. What is your favorite platform to find keywords? Currently use SEMrush, but have heard mixed reviews on it. So I just tell people like the main keyword that you want to target is like Colorado elopement photographer, like the location that you're serving plus elopement photographer. And then if you scroll down on Google, like if you were to type that into Google and then scroll down, there's going to be like other keywords there. But I don't really get crazy about keyword research because like that's the main keyword that we have to focus on. And then when you're running ads, it kind of like gives you other ideas for other keywords that you could throw in. Let's see, Charles, I'm using Adobe Portfolio as my website. I don't know if keywords writing blog will work there. I would say I really recommend that everybody uses a Show It website. They're very easy to adjust. They're very SEO friendly. So yeah, if anybody is on any other kind of website, I always recommend switching over to Show It so that you can have a nice website. You can create that sales page for your pricing page and utilize long-term SEO because some of these other things like Wix or Pixie Set or other, like Adobe Portfolio, sometimes like you can't target any what's it called any true keywords from that. Cool. What other questions, comments do you guys have? Got some applications. Cool, cool, cool. Thanks. Great info. Awesome. Yeah, feel free to share, ask me any other questions or share what was insightful. Again, I become a better educator when I get feedback. Do you ever do in-person workshops? Yes, I have four. Thank you, Judith. I have Moab this November. And then next year I have Alaska, Iceland, and Switzerland. So yeah, I do in-person workshops. Basically, we do 3 all-day elopements during the workshop. We have one rest and recharge day in between elopement 2 and 3 because it's really hard to shoot back to back to back and still ha be energized and creative and have fun. Um, they're pretty much all inclusive, like lodging, food, all that stuff. Um, the 3 elopements are always like my dream elopements that I want to shoot there, like in Alaska, where we're going to ride a helicopter for one of them and stuff. And I include some online education. So I used to teach in person during the workshops, but like, why travel to someplace cool and then sit in an Airbnb and look at slides? You know, so I deliver all that stuff ahead of time so that we can be out adventuring and then have like real conversations and like cover real things like as far as education goes. So, is that any, would you have any interest in those locations? Ooh, yeah. Here. Mhm. Yeah, so for the Moab workshop, I don't think I've updated the sales page, but one on day one, we are taking lifted Jeeps out to Marlborough Point and like kind of doing some cool stuff along the way. And then on day two, this is the one I haven't updated, the couple's gonna go skydiving as their activity. So we're gonna photograph them getting ready, getting onto the plane. I'm paying to be a passenger on the plane so I can photograph videos, or photograph photos of the couple like jumping out and stuff like that. But then I'll come back down, and I'll be giving those photos to all the attendees so you guys can use them. And then you guys will be on the ground, kind of like photographing them right in the drop zone. So that's going to be really fun. And then we're also going to hike Corona Arch. And then, so that's going to be day two. And then we're going to do day three as visiting another arch, but then also doing like some horseback riding. So it's going to be a lot of cool stuff. I'm really, really stoked. And I think it's November 3rd through the 7th or something. Can't remember, but it's all on that page. And I think we might only have one spot left for that. Cool. Any other questions, you guys? Oh, you have another workshop overlapping. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on my 2026 elopements too. And if enough people show interest in me doing Moab again for 2026, I can do it. So yeah, I like to do them in November because it's just kind of like off season a little bit, so it's less crowded and stuff. Cool. Any other questions? Comments? Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. Cool, cool. Anything else? Pick my brain, guys. I have lots of knowledge up here. What are the conversations you have when hiking up mountains? Oh, that's a good question. So, I have found that the the people who want to be elopement photographers and the couples that want to elope are oftentimes kind of introverted, but like really value deep conversations. So like, um, I would say a lot of times, like, I mean, we get into really deep, weird stuff. It's not like it's not small talk, and like because we've met kind of so many times ahead of time via Zoom going over their elopement plan and timeline and stuff, like we know each other's pets, we know each other's favorite shows and coffee orders and drinks, like we know a lot about each other so we can kind of get deep into things. Which is what I love because I feel like wedding days are all just small talk. Like, hey, like the guests are all just like, when did you get in? You know, did you fly? Like, we drove. Like, what hotel are you staying in? Cool. Like, who's watching your dogs? Or it's like all dumb stuff. But like on elopement days, we talk, we get deep. So, and Marissa's wondering what my dream elopement shoot is. Oh man, I have so many. I've planned so many, like, because Todd and I like to travel, and everywhere I go, in my head, I'm like planning an elopement there. I would say I really love Peru, and I think some of the mountains and culture and vibes in Peru are like, I just love them so much. So I would love to shoot some kind of multi-day thing in Peru. I don't think I'd be able to photograph them in Machu Picchu, but maybe if I could, that'd be really cool. Um, Something like that. Or Patagonia is really awesome. Like one of the most beautiful spots was Torres del Paine, and I would love to photograph there. Um, but yeah, I do want to plan some workshops there at some point, but I think people are kind of scared sometimes to travel to South America, even though it's my favorite. What are your guys' favorite or dream elopement places? Oh, and Charles, did that help? We're all of us in the elopement split space are introverts. Let's say each time a client books you for a different country, are the elopement prices on our website already factoring the travel accommodations, car rentals? Yeah, so it's gonna be unlikely for like you to be booked in different locations every time. Like part of the strategy is to really like pick one location, create all the stuff in the messaging and the blog posts and the photos that you need to convert couples, and then get really good at that, and then add in another location. So yeah, so your website pricing will basically factor in all that stuff because it might like I have some people who like live in Arkansas, but they shoot in Colorado and Oregon, or people who live in Michigan and shoot in Hawaii. So yeah, their pricing will reflect all those costs. So yeah. Um, but and you can always make like a custom plan. Like if somebody were to want to book me in the Dolomites, like I would get on a sales call with them, figure out what they want, and come up with like a custom proposal for them. Um, Marissa, flight costs. Yeah, some of them. You'd be surprised at how cheap they can be sometimes. Peru was pretty easy. I felt like it was pretty easy to get to. Patagonia was like 24 hours of travel. It's crazy. Cool. Well, I'm excited to look at your applications. I'm stoked that you guys attended today, that you lasted till the very end. And please, I'll be sending out this replay for you guys. Excuse me. Thank you to everybody who applied for the mastermind. I'll be getting back to you shortly. Um, Make sure to follow me on Instagram because I do have workshops coming up for anybody that wants to portfolio build or just hang out in really, really cool places. And I will be in touch with the replay and good info for you guys. So thank you so much for coming. Bye.